Hey guys, it's Tahi. We're gonna do the last heroic PTR boss fight for June 26th, and this guy's name is Soulbinder Naazindhri. Hopefully that's correct. This fight is much different than the first two before it, and I want to say very different from any boss fight we've had in recent history. So the fight is going to start off with these three souls being present: this blue one, this purple one, and this white one. And uh, they each spawn their own ads. So the blue one spawns an assassin. It's literally just like an assassination rogue. It vanishes, like shadow steps behind you and hits you with like a backstab. That also leaves a dot. The mage does a cast. The dungeon journal does not say it's interruptible. The other thing it says is it calls it a volley, which volleys historically in WoW have always been like raid wide damage, right? But this one says it only targets one player and that it does damage instantly and then leaves a dot behind. And then this phase blade, very different from the other two. It does not a lot of damage to one player, and then it says something like it rips energy out of you, which causes the same amount of damage it just did to you to other players. But by far, it's like it might do like the most raid wide damage in one hit, but it's not a lot of damage by itself. The instant hits from the assassin and the mage are much harder, and the dots hit much harder. This phase blade, obviously tuning can change, but the phase blade by far does the least amount of damage. And so the things to watch out for are these three ads like immune? If they die, does the soul eventually spawn a replacement of it? Not clear by the dungeon journal how it will actually work. Or maybe they just stay alive the entire time. The dungeon journal also makes it sound like these souls are going to pulse raid damage throughout the entire fight until you get rid of them. And with that, we should talk about how you're going to get rid of them. So there's this ability called Soul Fray Annihilation that's going to go on a targeted player, and it's going to shoot an orb out at the targeted player. What I assume is going to happen is you have to sidestep this little purple orb thing, or whatever color it's going to be, it's going to shoot out. Let's give it some sort of easier to see texture. There you go. And it's going to shoot out. It's going to go across, and it's going to hit this ad, and it's going to make it vulnerable to damage now. They're going to take 15% more damage for 20 seconds. So I don't know if that's like if it's like, hey, they're basically immune to damage, and now they take 15% of total damage, and like you just have to like hit one soul over and over and over and over again to get it so it's actually taking meaningful damage. By rating standards, you definitely don't need it to take like 100% damage. Probably like 60, 75 is when like you can start doing really meaningful damage to it. And even before then, your dot classes can definitely put a decent dent into it as you start putting more herbs into it. And it's going to work this way for all three of these souls. The other way I could see this working is like these mages, these assassins, these phase blades, their orbs are supposed to be hitting them instead. To me, that seems less likely. It does say souls in the dungeon journal. These things are much more soul-like than the mage, assassin, and phase blade. So if you get targeted with this, you're going to go to one of these souls, let it shoot, you're going to dodge the orb. It's going to become somewhat vulnerable. Actually, you know what? It says 15% more damage for only 20 seconds, so it's not going to stack up. So this is going to be, you hit one of these souls with one of these orbs, and it's going to be probably like entire raid, swap damage, and start hitting this guy. There is a tank hit. It's nothing crazy. It just leaves behind a dot. It's nothing you have to like run out of the raid or anything. It's pretty minimal. It's pretty boring tank fight from the sounds of it. Arcane Expulsion. It's a knockback to the entire raid. If there's something you're noticing from the first three fights, there's going to be a lot of knockbacks in this raid. It does a sizable amount of instant damage, but obviously that can be changed with tuning, and leaves behind a decent dot that ticks every 1 second. The other thing with these boss fights is lots of rot damage, and almost every single dot in all of these fights, including the fights that we haven't even talked about yet, tick every 1 second. So very, very fast ticking dots. Depending on like the tuning of all these things, it would not surprise me if like 5 healing some of these fights is going to be the play for the tier. So okay, so the next thing we have is this ability called Soulfire Convergence, and it's going to target a random player. It's going to debuff them with Soulfire Convergence. It puts a big dot on them that ticks every 1 second once again, and eventually an orb is going to leave the player. This needs to be dodged by the rest of the raid. If it hits another player, it's going to leave behind a big damage dot on the player, and it's also going to reduce their speed by 45%. This has much more meaning in Mythic difficulty, which we're not going to talk about, but just dodge it. The thing to keep in mind out for this orb is like, is it just going to like go out of the player and like disappear off the map, or is it going to like hit a wall and then like start bouncing around the room? Yeah, so I don't know, like a DVD player screen, you know what I'm saying, to my 90s kids. But that's kind of about it for this entire fight. It seems super simple. It'll be interesting to see like where these souls are at on the room, because this boss room is massive. So I have to imagine like the room that I've used here is not how it's going to play out, that there's going to be more room here. The other thing I thought about too was maybe it's only like one soul at a time, and as soon as you get rid of one soul, another soul comes in and takes its place. Or like if you screw up this orb mechanic and you don't get rid of one fast enough, now you have 2 that are spawning, so now you have 2 separate ads going. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I definitely think like the size of this boss room justifies there's more happening here than what I think is happening, unless it's just this big, so like this orb can just like bounce around the room everywhere. But yeah, this is one of those fights where I thought I understood it pretty well, and then I went to raid plan and I saw how big this arena is, and I was like, okay, maybe I don't understand it super well. But yeah, so this is probably the fight that I'm most interested in seeing for raid testing. It's the one that I definitely have the most questions about. So to summarize it, once again, these souls each spawn their own unique ad. This guy is just literally an assassination rogue. He's going to shadow step behind you, backstab you, does instant damage, dot. Mage does a volley, says it only goes to one player, would not surprise me if it goes raid wide, does instant damage and leaves a dot. Because of the way the tooltip reads, it makes me feel like volley is the wrong word. They just use the wrong word, and it's really just a single target ability, but watch out for it. This Phase Blade seems like the weakest of the ads, maybe does the most raid damage, depending on how frequently this casts and this does its vanish backstab thing. But yeah. The other thing I thought about too is like maybe like these ads just do like their ability once and then they go away. And then like they spawn another one of these things, they do their cast once and they go away. So you'll definitely get rid of, if all 3 souls are active, you'll definitely get rid of whichever soul spawns the most meaningful ad that's causing the most problems for your raid team. And maybe it will be the Phase Blade. I have no idea. But this is a boss fight. Like as you are doing this on PTR, you should be checking your details for damage done by spell to see which one of these 3 ads abilities is doing the most damage to your raid, and just that's the soul you want to kill first. For the actual fight itself, shoot an orb at a soul ad. Once you hit it, you have 20 seconds to do damage to it. Try to kill as soon as possible. This is a full raid wide swap. Outside of that, it's just a Soulfire Convergence that goes on a random player. It shoots out an orb. Not sure if it's just going to disappear off the map or if it's going to ping pong around the entire room. So looking forward to raid testing. Hope it goes well. Hopefully no bugs. Last raid testing was incredibly buggy and was pretty miserable to watch. So let's hope this next time is better. If you are raid testing, good luck. Hope it goes well. We'll see you guys in the next video. It should be coming out tomorrow, and that one is going to be over Forge Weaver Araz. We're also going to be doing the Soul Hunters, Fractilis, and Nexus King Saldhadar, or however you say his name. So thanks guys. Have a good one.